Hey guys, what's up? Rich, thrilled. Well, I decided to make sure that I didn't take another 3 or 4 weeks to make another video. So here I am. It's been a few days since my last video, and I think I have some pretty cool stuff to share with you. It's not one solid idea, it's a few different things. I know the first part here, the actual title is Did Forrest tell us, why did Forrest tell us to leave the treasure quickly after we find it, or did he? And I'm going to get to that here in a second. I want to touch on a few things first that you might find interesting. Okay, first off, real quickly, on the arrowhead thing, as you guys know, in my last video, we picked Matt. Matt was the winner of the arrowhead. And I spoke with Matt, and he's been gracious enough to actually pass because he has a huge arrowhead collection. So I thought that was really cool of him to do. So I went ahead, actually that same night, and I picked the second one just in case, like Matt wasn't subscribed or I couldn't find him or whatnot. Okay, so the winner of the first arrowhead, okay, is Finding the Chest. That's the username, Finding the Chest. So as he spoke about in the last video, you can either take the arrowhead, and you guys have seen the picture. If not, go back to the last video. You can see the picture of the arrowhead. Or you could pick to get the wall map, the poem and the map. It's really cool. It's the same thing. It's in Too Far to Walk in the back. You can actually get it in like map form for your wall. It's beautiful and awesome. So you can, if you don't want an arrowhead, you can get that, or you can pick one of the two books, The Thrill of the Chase or Too Far to Walk, or actually Once Upon a While if you want the third one. So that's kind of what we're kind of how we're going to move forward with this. Okay, so if you do win, you get to pick between the arrowhead of the week, one of the books, or the wall map. All right. So the first winner was Matt. He passed, and now Finding the Chest is the new winner. So guys, the next one I'm going to give away is that translucent one. So like the video if you would, please, if you do like it, and make sure you're subscribing. Whoever makes a comment, I'm going to do the same exact thing on this video. I'll pick it out of a hat, and that person's going to get that second arrowhead or the book or the books or the Walmart. Okay, so I won't go any more into that. I hate talking about this stuff for too long, you know what I'm saying? But I do, you guys know that I think it's important to, the arrowheads are important. I'm going to touch on that in a couple of videos, why. But it's really what got Forrest started. And I do believe that if you kind of get in that mindset, it helps find the treasure. I really do. So, okay, guys, I mean, it's so much that I want to go over. First off, I want to break down something real quick, okay? This is on Terry Scan. And this is, I should have maybe titled the video this, but I didn't, okay? We've all seen this right here. This is the question about where warm waters halt. It says, if someone unfamiliar with your poem receives a message that says, meet me where warm waters halt somewhere in the mountains north of Santa Fe, will they be able to work out where to go? If they can't, would they need the whole poem, another stanza, or just a line or a word to help them on their way? Phil. And then Forrest answers, there are a few words in the poem that are not useful in finding the treasure, Phil, but it is very risky to discount any of them. You oversimplify the clues. There are many places in the Rocky Mountains where warm waters halt, and nearly all of them are north of Santa Fe. Look at the big picture. There are no shortcuts. Okay, guys, if you know, you guys know probably if you listen to my last videos that I'm a big component on where warm waters halt being not one body of water halting, but numerous ones, or the idea of a bunch halting at a certain point. Okay, example of that would be the Continental Divide. Now, I'm not saying that's it, but that's a good example of the kind of thing I'm talking about. Okay, and many people ask me, why, how do I come to that conclusion? And I've been wanting to break down this comment for a while to show you how I think about it and why I think about it like this. Okay, so what he's saying here is that, you're oversimplify the clues. Okay, so what is Phil doing that oversimplifies it? Okay, meet me where warm waters halt somewhere in the Rocky Mountains north of Santa Fe. Okay, so Phil is talking about one where warm waters halt, right? In this scenario. So Forrest is saying you're oversimplifying it by focusing on one. All right. There are many places in the Rocky Mountains where warm waters halt, all of them north of Santa Fe. Look at the big picture. Okay, so let's kind of look at it like this. One location where warm waters halt is simplifying it, and it's small picture. Okay, he's telling us to basically not oversimplify it and look at the big picture. So if looking at one where warm waters halt is simplifying it and looking at the small picture, then my idea, that's where I get that idea. Okay, looking at multiple where warm water halts, or the idea of like one location where theoretically warm waters halt, would be big picture and would be the complexity that he's talking about. It's not as simple as just saying, hey, that one where warm waters halt there in Mexico, that's where this starts. Okay, now you guys know a lot about Forrest, obviously, and I didn't come to this decision lightly. It reads to me everything that he's about, okay, everything that he's studied, the way that he looks at things. I think it's much more realistic to think that it's something like that, like a continental divide, or there's you guys know, I think it's called the Western Waterway that cut right through New Mexico, Colorado, Montana, back in the millennia. Okay, there used to be a complete waterway all the way up to Canada that cut the continent in half. Okay, you have up in Montana, you have where, saying the Continental Divide Trail and stuff. There's some interesting stuff up there where warm waters halt. So that's really how I look at this and how I truly believe this is broke down. Okay, then I think about it like this to make it even more simple, or to make me understand it. What's the alternative, guys? Is the alternative, okay, he says there's many places north of the Rockies or north of Santa Fe where warm waters halt. So do we have to literally go through each single one of them until we find it? Just basically cross them off, process of elimination? So people say that doesn't make sense. That doesn't seem solvable. That seems like it'd take thousands and thousands of years, and it seemed like it'd be luck. So again, just the way, if you think about solving it, pushes towards this idea. Okay, so just in closing, the way I think about it, one warm water halt location is simple in its small picture. Okay, multiple locations, or the idea, like a continental divide idea, where it's stopped in theory, is complex in its big picture. And that's what Forrest is, in essence, telling us to do. Obviously, this is my opinion, guys. I think it's obviously, it could be at one where warm water halts, like, say next to the Madison, or numerous places. There's wonderful places that this fits with the poem. All right, but the sheer fact, this comment right here, he hasn't made many comments on where warm waters halt. You guys know that, but this is one of the big ones. If you break this down and you just counter, like I just did, everything the other opposite way, it really points towards that idea. All right, so that's that. I hope it's helpful. It's something that this is really the core of my solves, guys. It is. I don't have one solve that's like one specific where warm water halts, like one actual one. I truly believe it's like a big picture thing. Okay, so that's that. Let's see, man. I don't want this to be too long, so I'll try to hurry, guys. Let's see. Okay, you know what? Let's go to the title of the poem, or to the title of the video. Does Forrest tell us to leave quickly after we find the treasure? Okay, here's the poem, guys. This is looking at one of my favorite couple lines of the poem. I think it has a lot of potential to tell us about where to be and what we're looking for. Okay? It's down here. It says, if you've been wise and found the blaze, look quickly down your quest to cease, but tarry scant with marvel gaze, just take the chest and go in peace. So if you guys go back to my videos, if you've been watching, you know that how I interpret but tarry scant with marvel gaze. Just take the test and go in peace. I know everybody has different opinions on it, okay? But to me, this is one of the easiest ones to interpret because of the word but and the word just, okay? So what it means, if you break it down, if you look this, and again, go back to my video on the poem to see if you want to see detail on it, but it basically means, but tarry scant with marvel gaze, it means don't screw around and stare at the treasure. It actually means don't dawdle around and stare at it with marvel gaze, with starry eyes, something like that. Just take the chest and go in peace. Okay. Some people think Terry Scant with Marvel gaze means like there's something there that you're looking at that has a Marvel gaze or Terry Scant. And I would buy that. But if you put in the but and the just, okay, after look quickly down your quest to cease, I don't see how it could be anything else. All right. Think about this. When do you use the word but and then just in a sentence? Okay, let's kind of break it down. Look quickly down your quest to cease, but Terry Scant with Marvel gaze. So let's kind of read it in layman's terms. But look quickly down. You found the chest, but don't stand there and stare. Just take the chest and get the heck out of there. All right. So the but and just is the key. It's just interesting to me. Why? Okay, if you agree with me, okay, the question we got to ask yourself is why? Why but Terry Scant with Marvel gaze, just take the chest and go in peace? Okay, and then what I like to do with this, guys, is I like to take this and connect it back to the first part here. From there, it's no place for the meek. Okay, so when you do it this way, it really starts to come together. All right. For whatever reason that makes it the place of the meek, that would make sense that you want to get the heck, don't stare at it forever. Just get the heck out of there and, you know what I'm saying, get to your car and look at it there. So the question you ask yourself is, why is it no place for the meek? Why does he want us to not stick around and look at it and do it in the car or do it at home? Okay. For the longest while, I thought it was because of the terrain. Okay, well, let's put it this way. When I analyzed this line without this right here, without Terry Scant, when I just analyzed it from there, it's no place for the meek. My initial thought was it's no place for the meek because it was hard. It's a hard, you know what I'm saying? It's a hard place to be. It's a hard climb. It's tough terrain. It's dangerous. But then when you think about that, it really becomes less likely because Forrest obviously has said many times it's not dangerous. It's not easy, but it's not dangerous. So really, would that be no place for the meek? Just be, you know, saying that a man of his age could get to that terrain. So I really start to discount the terrain as the no place for the meek reason. So then my next thought, as you guys probably know if you listen to my videos or subscribers, is I went the longest time thinking it was no place for the meek because of some type of predator, namely grizzly bears. Okay, I'm still of the opinion of a pretty high opinion that the home of brown could possibly be for grizzly bears. That's just an opinion. I'm not completely sold on it, but it would make from there no place for the meek work, right? Because needless to say, if there's grizzly bears around Yellowstone up in Montana, you know, that's no place for the meek. That's terrifying to think about. Even if you've been out there a few times, it's not an easy thing to think about, right? So I really thought about that. But I should say this, and if you marry that to Terry Scant with Marvel gaze is to take this just to go in peace, that makes sense, okay? Because he's basically saying there's no place for the meek because there's grizzly bears. So when you find it, don't just sit there and stare. Just take the chest and go. Get out of there. And you can analyze it later on and think about it and look at it. All right, so that was my thinking for quite a while. But then I had this epiphany. Okay, and I try to marry everything to Forrest's personality these days and the way the person that he is, the way that he is. We all know that Forrest, he loves to push the limits. You know what I'm saying? He loves to not cross the line, but go up to the line. He loves to challenge authority. That's one of the best qualities about him. It's made him the independent person that he is, made him just, you know, saying push the envelope on so many different things. And through the scrapbooks and the books, there's countless stories that prove this, right? So that's where I'm getting this from. So the one that sticks out is when he stole the bronze sprinkler heads from the stadium, right, and used them. I mean, come on, that is really pushing the limits, isn't it? Okay. So then I had this epiphany: is that the no place for the meek is because that's exactly what he did when he hid this treasure. Okay. Now, am I saying is it on private property? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that exactly. Okay. Could it be? Yes. But I'm saying it's something like that. Okay. It's no place for the meek, not because of the terrain, not because of some type of threat, like a grizzly bear, another animal or something. It's no place for the meek because you're flat out breaking the rules in some way, and it's uncomfortable. Okay, and maybe it's buried in Yellowstone, and that's why he's not saying it's buried. So you gotta dig it up before any type of ranger sees you. And then when they ask you if it was buried, you say it wasn't, and you can say it wasn't because Forrest says it wasn't, even though it was. See what I'm saying? I know you guys get what I'm trying to say. It's no place for the meek because at that point, once you put in below the Hold'em Brown, there's something about what you're doing, okay, that is pushing the envelope. It's going across some type of line or up to a line. And that's why when you find it, the Terry Scant with Marvel Gaze, just take it and just go in peace. Because whatever you're doing that makes it that area, you got to get out of there quickly. You can't dawdle around. It's exactly what he's saying, guys. I mean, if anyone can interpret this any other way with the words but and just, I really would love to hear it. And I'm open to it. If those two words weren't there, I think this could be a lot of different things. But since they're there, if you just tie it into English and how we say things, when we start a sentence with but, then the next sentence with just, any scenario you put into there makes this interpretation correct. All right. So again, obviously you guys know me. This is just my opinion, but this was a huge epiphany to me. And it really it helps us think about where this chest is hidden. It might be why it's so hard to find. Okay. These two things is why I have my Montana solve up in high Montana, like really up north of Montana. This is what did it, because I thought, okay, where could Forrest hide it that would be pushing the envelope that would fit this criteria? Okay, so I hope that's helpful, guys. I mean, that's really a big part of my solve. I debated even sharing this, but I just end up sharing everything because the minute you think that you have some proprietary idea and it's just so special, we all know it's not. You know what I'm saying? There's probably a million people who's already thought this, but I did want to share it because it's a big part of what I think. I'd love to get your feedback on what the Terry Scant with Marvel Gaze, this check the test and go in peace might mean if it's not that. Okay. So that's that. That's really kind of the bulk of the video. I do want to touch on one quick little thing. I got a video to show you. Like 2 nights ago, I always like to go back to some past videos that I haven't seen or that haven't seen a lot of. And I was listening to one on a profile. Let's see, whose profile is it? Here it is. It's Terry Finn right here. And I'm not sure if Terry Finn is actually related to Forrest or not. I really don't know. But this video, like this part of the video, absolutely floored me. I stopped in my tracks when I heard this. Now, this goes back to my last video that I talked about, is it buried or not buried, and why I think it's buried these days. I'm like 99.9% sure it's buried. Now, we've all heard, or most of us have heard, Forrest in past interviews, especially the radio interviews, where he says it's buried, you know what I'm saying, a few times. Then he'll come back and say, it's not buried. I don't want to give that as a clue. But he has slipped up, quote unquote, and said buried a few times. Now, you can chalk that up to him just saying making a mistake. It can truly not be buried, and he make that mistake, right? Just thinking kind of a buried treasure and just kind of the wording of it. This is along the same type of thing, except this is a much deeper way to do it. I don't know how better way to put it. Okay, just listen to this, guys, and tell me what you think. I want to stop it and I want to play it back and tell me if you catch what I hear here.
And I'm telling myself, yeah, I really felt good because I had done something that I had dreamed about for a long time.
How did you pick that particular spot to bury the chest?
Well, I don't want to give too many more clues, but it's a very special place to me, and otherwise I would not have done it. I mean, I couldn't just take it out and bury it in the ground someplace where I didn't know where I was. I think that was a crucial part of it.
Okay, guys, isn't that flat out amazing? Okay, so what she asks, if you guys heard, is you know what I'm saying? Why this special? Why here? You know what I'm saying? And he basically says, you know what? I couldn't have buried it anywhere else that wasn't special to me. I could have only buried it at this spot because it's special. I mean, him using the word buried there is really big, guys. Okay. And I've been I've been in sales and inside sales a long, long time. You guys have seen my other videos where I analyze what he says, his body language. This is a bigger deal than those other videos where he has one-offs where he says buried. Okay. Because the way the questions ask and him actually talking about the spot, if you look at his eyes, how he looks right, he's actually bringing back the memory, the visual memory of it. And he's saying, I couldn't have just buried it in any spot. Now, he doesn't go on and complete it by saying, so I had to bury it there. But, I mean, in my opinion, what he would have said was, you know what, I couldn't have hid it. I couldn't have hid that treasure just anywhere. I couldn't have hid it anywhere. I had to hide it in a special place. Okay, so I'm going to play it one more time for you guys and let you listen to it now that I did that part of it. Tell me what you think.
That I had dreamed about for a long time.
How did you pick that particular spot to bury the chest?
Well, I don't want to give too many more clues, but it's a very special place to me, and otherwise I would not have done it. I mean, I couldn't just take it out and bury it in the ground someplace where I didn't know where I was. I think that was a crucial part of it.
Then,
okay, guys, I'm not going to go on and on about it. This video's Terry Finn. It's called Forrest Finn's Hidden Treasure. I highly recommend listening to the whole thing. It's just incredible. But that part right there, I'd love to get your guys' opinion on it. Like I said, to me, it was a really big deal. I don't want to overdo it, but if you notice, he actually even pauses before he says buried, almost like he caught himself, but he went ahead and said it. Okay, like watch.
that particular spot to bury the chest.
Well, I don't want to give.
Oh, by the way, and she actually says to bury the chest. All right, so he has a chance to stop her right there and correct her, right? And say it's not buried, say it's buried like he normally does, but he doesn't correct her. So she frames it buried.
How did you pick that particular spot to bury the chest?
Well, I don't want to give too many more clues, but it's a very special place to me, and otherwise I would not have done it. I mean, I couldn't just take it out and bury it in the ground someplace where I didn't know where I was. I think that was a crucial part of it.
Then didn't tell.
Wow, incredible, guys. Okay, I'll leave that with that. I really want to get your guys' feedback on this stuff tonight. Okay, let's see. How long are we at right now? Don't want to go too long. Let's see real quick. Where are we at? I don't even know how to pull you guys up. Let's see. Okay. Okay, here we are. Let's see. We are at how many seconds to minutes? Oh, I can't tell. All right. Well, okay. I'll say one more thing, guys, and we'll end it up. Okay. I think I put this in the description. And you guys, if it's too long, just go ahead and click off here. I appreciate everything. If you feel like hearing this last idea, then please go ahead and stay on. But over the past 3 weeks, I had this Montana solve, right? And it's a really good one. Like, it just really hits everything so good. But for whatever reason, my mind has been kind of just telling me that it's down south. Okay. Now this comes to this question, like, to me, like, you always hear like new searchers have an advantage over old searchers and stuff like that. But let me tell you something, like, being an old searcher and us analyzing all this information and making educated decisions on incomplete information, just as long as we make decisions, like real decisions, and we actually make assumptions based on the information, what we do is we create, I'm saying we log that. I always say that in my videos, I log that in the back of my mind, log that in the back of my mind. I believe fully 100% that's where hunches come from, okay? That's where you build up that information enough, and all of a sudden you move on that information. It's called an intuition or a hunch, but in my opinion, it's all in there, ready to come out, right? And so I try to trust my mind. I try to trust that gut. People call it a gut instinct, right? But there's way more to it than that. I need to say our brains are pretty complicated and complex. And I think that when we analyze this stuff for months and months and months and listen to Forrest speak and listen to other people's opinions, like we make these decisions, and you can't fight that, right? And I really think that the treasure is somewhere closer to Forrest. All right. Now, there's a million reasons why I think this, and a lot more are, like I said, are in my brain. You're just pulling me. I don't know why, but the ones I can actually articulate is one. I really thought about it. It's just human nature, right? Let's put yourself in this situation. Let's say you had that chest and you took years filling it up. You had this grand idea to hide it, and it comes time to do it. But your special place is up 1,200 miles away up in Montana from where you live. Would you still do it? You know what I'm saying? Or would you just kind of let it go like you did a million other things in your life that you've had as an idea? But I think the ultimate deciding factor for him that what helped him move forward was the fact that his special place just happened to be close to him. That was like the reason why he was able to go through with this. We've talked about how the place picked him. He didn't pick the place. So it's not like he could pick the place after you know what I'm saying? He didn't have that luxury. So I think it just so happened, more than likely, in my opinion, that it was close by to him. So it made this moving forward with this much, much more doable. I think Forrest has the air of ownership still, of confidence. And I think you would lose that if it was thousands of miles away from you. I think you would have more so of that if you either A, could see it. I mean, could you guys I know we all envision Forrest like going on Google Earth and going right to the area and maybe not being able to see the chest, but knowing exactly where it's at, just smiling. Now, just think about that being within like 3 to 5 hours away tops. That feeling you could sleep at night. His baby's close by. Okay. So I really believe that. I'm really pushing towards that. I think that it's close. I think it's close. Okay. Now, secondly, I like to combine the surprise comment. I've analyzed this in the past, but Forrest said people are going to be surprised when they find out where it's at. Now, I've analyzed that in the past, so going back to my past videos, but how do I fit that into this new intuition that I have? That's where I think the Colorado comes into play. Okay, so I think it's on the border of Colorado and New Mexico on the Colorado side. Okay, so what I think he means by that surprise comment, I think it means state surprise, because that could mean either location-wise or how it's hidden, or a combination, right? One or the other. How are we going to be surprised? And again, I broke this down in another video. I think it's in Colorado, and not too far though. Like I said, it's close to him. Okay, it's close to him. But I think it's in Colorado, and I think that's why that surprise comment, because I think someone did a really good video recently. I think Rodney Greenway, I think is his name, did one about how Colorado is not mentioned at all in the book. He never talks about Colorado. Again, is that lack of Colorado just kind of over time a hint? I think possibly it is. Okay, I really do. And then the final thing is, we all know the conspiracy theory that when he started this, he didn't really mean for all the Rockies. He really truly meant north of Santa Fe, hidden in the mountains. And then as it blew up, you know what I'm saying, he extended the search up to Montana, even to Canada, and the whole Rocky Mountains. Now, you guys can look deeper into this, why people think this, and there's numerous reasons. The amount of books that were printed, the fact that the Rockies weren't mentioned for months until the second book, I think. And I think I went over the joke hint where once when he first said he just messing around, he told someone, yeah, it's 300 miles southwest of Toledo, Ohio. And then like a year later or 8 months later, he changed that joke hint to it's 300 miles west of Toledo. So like I said in that other video, if it was just north of Santa Fe, saying 300 miles southwest of Toledo wouldn't give anything away. Now, if it was like the other search, all the Rocky Mountains up in Montana, if he was to say that joke and not change it to west, it'd wipe out about 80% of it. I drew a line. It's like literally everything's cut out, right? So why he said southwest, that has always bugged me. even more so than the amount of books that's printed and stuff. It's like, why did he say that and then change it? Forrest, out of all people, knows directions. Okay, and he said that so early on in the chase before it got huge, and it possibly was changed. And if he did that, guys, I don't think that's misleading. By the way, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's smart. I think it got more people involved. I think it made it more fun. Just because he didn't anticipate it being massive doesn't make that a bad thing. But the people that think that, I really, I don't blame you. All right. My reasonings for thinking it's there, though, is more human nature, right? But still, I'm not going to lie, that definitely comes into play. Okay. All right, guys. Man, I'm sorry if I rambled. I'm kind of tired. It's late. It's like 12 a.m., but I had to get this out. I want to get these ideas about Marvel Gaze, about Warm Waters Halt, about how I think it's down in New Mexico-Colorado border. And, yeah, man, I would say if he said it's not on the mountaintop, it's close, I'd be looking at those first couple mountains coming in from New Mexico into Colorado. All right. That's what I'd be looking at. All right, guys, I'll make a video in a couple days. Please, if you like it, subscribe to me and make a comment out of the comments in this one. I'll pick the next winner for the arrowhead or the books or the map. Okay. I think that's it. Thanks for hanging with me this long. Appreciate it, guys. Talk soon.